Blog Talk Radio.
You're listening to Talent Culture's T-Chat Radio. The World of Work is live now on the radio with Megan M. Biro and Kevin W. Grossman, because middle initials count.
Come down, turn the radio on. Take my hand, turn the radio on. Come on, my favorite song, babe. Let's dance, turn the radio on.
Welcome, everybody out there in Talent Culture T-Chat Show land. It is Wednesday, October 14th, and 1 p.m. Eastern Time if you're in the East, and 10 a.m. Pacific if you're in the West. And, of course, if you're in Central Time, like our guest today, and sponsor of the show as well, it's noon. It is lunchtime. So welcome, everybody. This is the most wonderful time of the year. I'm not talking about the holidays either. I'm talking about the eve of the HR Technology Conference. With you, as always, is Kevin W. Grossman, and, of course, the lovely and talented Megan M. Biro. Hello, Megan.
Hello, everybody here at the T-Chat World of Work community. I am counting down the hours now. I've got those little butterflies in my stomach, actually. HR Tech Conference is probably one of my favorite conferences all year long, and I'm ignoring any breaking news out of Vegas right now because it all just seems so weird. I'll just leave it at that. Lots of news flashes happening there, but, isn't that par for the course? I think, as you said, it's a big show. It's a big city. There's a lot of excitement around the topic of HR technology adoption, infusion of cash, cool ideas, innovation, you name it. So I just want to say a special thank you to the entire team at Career Builder for being our sponsor of this community and certainly this week's chat as well. And say hello to our other fabulous sponsors out there. You know who you are, and you make a big difference in the world of work for us, so thank you. So last week we talked about why sourcing referrals can improve retention. And this week we're going to talk about the 3 steps to selecting the right HR technology. Selecting the right HR tech can be a daunting task, whether it's a new solution or a replacement system. I think there's so many things you have to consider, especially today, in this complex ecosystem, right? Cloud computing, HR data management, talent analytics, best of breed and integrated HR and talent acquisition and management systems. Oh my, and more. My head hurts already. Mobile, social. I'll lay it on thick for you guys, just in the event. As everybody knows here, I have a weekly column over at Forbes. I have a couple of new posts coming out on Talent Culture this week, and I'm actually really getting active with my blogging again. So you're going to start seeing me more on Entrepreneur and Huffington as well, and other media outlets as I stop by and say hello. So as we have our eye on the 2015 HR Technology Conference in Vegas, we want to kind of talk about 3 selection steps to consider and get really granular today. And our guest is going to help us break it all down and make sense of it. First, obviously, we want to talk about problems and goals. We want to solve some of that, right? We want to talk about researching solutions and then building, obviously, the business case, because we're not doing any of this without a case for it, as we know. And adoption has been a huge, huge topic for the last couple of years and beyond. And, if you're listening out there to the podcast, and I sure hope you are, and you want to participate on the Twitter chat during the show now, or for the T-Chat Twitter chat portion immediately after, following the podcast from 1:32 p.m. Eastern, and wherever else you are in the world of work, just do it. Don't stop yourself. You get in there on Hootsuite or Tweet Chat or whatever you need to do to participate. And remember, our show is a streaming podcast as well as we go. So let's introduce our talented guest today, shall we?
So we will, and just a quick note for those keeping score at home, next week's show, real quick, we will be doing live from HR Tech on the last day of the conference, which is pretty exciting, and more about that soon. But and also, we won't be right across from the Trump Tower next week. There you go. All right. So
Really?
I don't even know why I said that.
Bummer.
I listened to Morning Joe this morning, and it was good. I love that show, and that's enough of that. Okay. So Mary Delaney, welcome. Mary is our guest today. She is the president of Recruitment Software Solutions at CareerBuilder. And by the way, the handle that they're using today, you want to make sure to shout from the rooftops on the Twitters, is at CB4Employers, and you'll see it in the stream as well. Mary, as the president of Recruiting Software Solutions, she oversees the development and operations of CareerBuilder's global software platform business. She's a leader with a rich history of building high-growth and profitable organizations and plays a critical role in CareerBuilder's transformation from top job board to now HR SaaS leader. She's an employment expert who has appeared on CNN, Headline News, Fox, CBS National Radio, and in the Harvard Business Review as well, and many other things but I want her to talk a little bit about herself, so let me just stop and not go on. And Mary, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Kevin and Megan. Thanks for having me. And I guess I should say I'm Mary W. Delaney, since you guys use your middle initial.
See, there you go.
Fancy.
Now, Mary, are you willing to share what that is, by the way, what the W stands for?
You know what? My grandmother, who is no longer with us, would not like it because I changed it when I got married because I didn't really like it.
Oh, then never mind.
So it's Wilson. It's my maiden name.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing. So, Mary, why don't we do this? Tell us a little bit more about yourself, but particularly as it relates to what we're talking about today and what you're doing at CareerBuilder.
Sure. Right now, as you said, I lead our global software platform business, and I think the key to that is I get to work really closely with our customers and learn about their talent acquisition challenges. And then I go back to our team of product developers and software engineers, and we talk about what we heard, and then we look at the trends that are coming out and what we see. You know, being a part of CareerBuilder, we get to see what the job seekers are doing on a really global scale. So we combine what we see candidates are doing with the problems and challenges of our customers, and then we work to solve for those most pressing challenges. The other aspect I've been involved with is, prior to this business, I spent 4 years launching our business intelligence consulting arm. We call it Personified, and it specializes in branding, sourcing, human capital management. And through that opportunity, I got to sit with customers and look at their hiring process and do consulting around making it more efficient, help them with technology buys, and help them build the right candidate experience and employment brand. So throughout all of those solutions, it's given me a good experience and insight into how to choose a recruitment software solution and technology partner that's right for your company.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Yeah,
you've got
definitely.
a really interesting background. And, you know, I know, and I think a lot of us here, whether, you know, and I'm a former practitioner, turned, what have I turned? Well, I'm turning a new age soon, but we'll talk about that another time, because I'm a Libra. But anyways, on another note, I digress. You know, it can certainly be a daunting task, as I mentioned earlier, for buyers. But how does it differ from small to global enterprises in your experience?
That's a great question. You know, we do a lot of studies, having thousands of clients that we can really survey and work with. And we separated between the small and the enterprise businesses and asked them what was important when choosing software technology. And what we found was, number one was search, number two was support, and number three was candidate access. And there was a difference of 2 percentage points between large and small companies. So the reality is that all clients, all sizes, want a system that allows them to efficiently find the best candidates by searching the most number of candidates while providing really great support post-acquisition of this software.
Nice. That's
yeah,
fancy.
Definitely.
You have a fancy role, don't you? You're fancy.
So Mary, I don't know what it means. You've got 2 Librans on the phone, and I
know. Actually, you're right.
I myself just turned a big milestone, which I'm not afraid to share it, but it's the first number's a 5. But anyway, besides that, we talked about this in the video preview too. So I want to go a little bit deeper on that. So when it comes to, again, what you just answered about picking HR technology, depending on the size of organization, we've been talking a long time in this space, right? That what the difference between one talent management platform with recruiting, unified, supposedly integrated platform versus best of breed. What's the reality today? What are buyers really truly looking at, and what are your recommendations when it comes to that? Is it truly a best of breed world still?
Well, I think, there's a key. Sometimes we make this whole long list of what we want, but we forget to keep the end in mind. The end game when you're buying technology is to make hires, right? Make the best hires as fast as possible for the lowest time investment and the lowest dollar investment. And I've noticed that going mobile is so crucial to capturing candidates. We study these candidates, and I think what we've really seen is now at least 40% of them will visit your career site via mobile device. That's a lot of candidates to be missing if it's not a mobile optimized career site. So that's really key. The other thing is that a lot of companies are in this theme of one size fits all. We're everything. Come by us and we'll solve all your problems. And I would pause at that concept. Today, with SaaS technology and it all being so open, vendors should be able to give you API access to take best of breed technologies in each of the areas that are important to you and string them all up together. So don't compromise your end game and what you want by thinking you have to buy one company. Really don't settle. Find the best in each area and then make sure before you sign the contract that they're willing to integrate.
Indeed.
Well, that's actually a really smart solution.
Yep.
I think so many brands and even practitioners who are in a role, right? They're so. I think we're so overwhelmed with data now and information and how we get that information that sometimes we forget about all that. So very interesting feedback on that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And, analytics is so important, what you're saying. We really need to make decisions based on analytics. And I think with the front end, we were talking a little bit about candidate experience, and the reason why we buy this technology is to make hires. So it's so important to understand, does this software help me attract and engage more candidates or less? And do they prove that through science or through showing me we create this beautiful brand here? Don't get enticed by the beauty. Today, everything can be proven with analytics. Make sure you're going with a company that can back it up in data.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
So I have a burning question. Can I ask it?
Absolutely.
All right, just checking. So from your perspective, what's trending? What's super hot and fiery right now in HR tech? And what should HR or buyers be on the lookout for, especially as we're gearing up for Vegas?
Well, I think a few things. I think you will see the whole concept of mobile being something that you need to look at. Analytics, we've been talking about that for more than a few years. But most analytics are battling each other. There's not a lot where you've got all-encompassing analytics that take all these disparate software solutions and put it together to give you one single narrative about how am I doing? How are my recruiters doing? How are my sourcing strategies doing? What sourcing strategies should I use for different jobs? How are my people performing once I onboard them and make these hires? And so I think that's another area is we have all these things that have come out in the last few years, but have we dotted the I, crossed the T in having it be truly effective? So I think those are a few of the areas you'll see.
Yeah, thank you. I tend to concur with you. Certainly mobile, certainly, I think anything that touch points candidate experience is super hot right now. And, making sense of the big data. That big data, those talent analytics, and actually working that into your processes. Certainly also onboarding to me is a very interesting piece. I know Kevin and I were just on a podcast earlier this week for IBM, and we kind of touched upon the fact that onboarding to me, and we can talk about this some other time if we need to, because I know, gosh, we're already 15 minutes into this bad boy. Onboarding, I think, is still a very developing part of that process of hiring, Like, what is onboarding, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of pain points and manual to onboarding, so people are looking to technology to solve those. So we're seeing a lot of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, Mary, let's do this. Let's actually let's get a little bit more methodology in the discussion as it relates to purchasing HR technology today. Just kind of big picture best practices that a lot of folks, not just us, talk about all the time. But the first one is, it's really important for HR buyers and businesses to outline their problems and goals first. So who, from your perspective, who should be involved in this process, and what should they be looking at first?
Oh, great question. We've seen the best implementations occur when representatives from all of the key stakeholders are involved. Of course, human resources, because they buy and implement the software. But the purchase does impact several additional groups, whether it's marketing, because they are the brand arm of the company, and you've got the employment brand and their B2B or consumer brand. Both have to work together and complement each other. Technology, they might have to do some integrations. They might have to say, can you move behind the firewall to do some certain add-ons or plug-ins. Finance probably needs to approve it. And the CEO, a big part of technology, what you're buying has to help with the end game. What is the company saying the business objectives are? How does that impact people? And how does this technology help me influence the people goals that impact the business goals? And, of course, the other areas I would look and say, what are the driving force departments who talent is the end-all, be-all? And do I have their voices at the table on what would make us move the needle forward in our performance?
Hey, listen, this is all really juicy info, and I want to give a quick shout-out to Matt Elpers ADP on Twitter. He just tweeted, yes, analytics in air quotes is hot, all caps, in HR tech. Does your potential vendor have the data, all caps, to back up the shiny front end, the clean data? I think that's a really interesting point. So thank you for sharing on the Twitter stream. It's blowing up right now. We appreciate it. Do you have thoughts about that, this whole idea of data versus having clean data?
100%.
I mean, I think that's a really interesting angle.
It's such a great point. And, to me, that is a couple things. First of all, you need to find a partner who's really invested in your success. I look at technology partners as one part technology and three parts people. You need a person up front who's super knowledgeable and in it to help you make sure your process is most efficient that they're going to build into the system. They're the person who's supposed to use analytics and their knowledge from all the other customers to say, man, if your goals are X, deciding to have this in your process will hurt that goal. We recommend doing Y. And so having the most streamlined, efficient, common sense process is key. Two is, did you find a system that's easy for the users to use it? Because part of not having good data is either there's a process with a lot of holes so people can do workarounds and then your data isn't good because not everyone puts things in the right buckets, or people don't use it because it's too hard to use. And so one thing I recommend to all of our clients and prospective clients is go out and look at what are the top 5 activities your recruiter, your sourcing team, your hiring manager, your executive will have to do in the system, and then make sure you test drive each of your top finalists and actually count the clicks. And actually even try and do it without someone training you how to do it. Can I figure it out? Is it intuitive? And then is it easy and efficient? Does one take 7 clicks where another takes 1? Because what you find is when it's hard and cumbersome, people will find ways to disengage, and then if one of the reasons you bought it was for analytics, you won't have it, or at least it won't be right.
Oh, absolutely. Single source of data truth. Get your house in order. It's got to happen that way, because nothing else means anything otherwise, right? Especially when you're trying to make.
But wait a minute. But who's got a seat at the table? Who's making the decisions on that clean data? That's what I want to know. Okay, that was a joke, everybody, right?
Yeah, that's why you need the right people at the table, right?
Indeed.
No more table references. No tables.
Why
no
not?
Tables.
I love the seat at the table. Come on.
Hey, listen, Mary. I want to jump to, I think, an important one in the process again of selecting HR tech. We've already kind of touched on the fact of what considerations you should be thinking about when you're picking a new provider. But let's talk about business case, though, right? Because we're running down on time, and I think that's something that a lot of organizations struggle with. And when they're trying to put together that internal business case, what should be included in this business case and why?
Well, first, I think it's about understanding, what drives your business. So begin with the end in mind. What are the initiatives in the business, and how can recruitment, what levers can they pull to impact that? And then how will the technology enable recruitment to make an impact? An example, let's say, I know we hear a lot about technology being hard to find and sales talent being really critical to a business. And so if you looked at that and you said, boy, my positions right now go open for 95 days. And if you were able to look under the covers and understand that my first phase, from the time I know a position's open to the time I have a slate of candidates today for my hiring managers is, 32 days. And a lot of that is this sourcing and finding this talent. How can I move the needle down on that? And if you had one database that you were able to search efficiently and find all of the candidates you've built up through your talent network or your other recruitment efforts or your other sourcing efforts before, and it was allowed to move that to literally, it could, 0 time to find, where you could get to where you've got slates in there, you just need to be able to know there's an opening and move to there. What would that do to the business? If it was 30 days, what would that do to the business? How much more revenue or how much more engineering time? And so I think we have to talk in the CEO's language and talk about business versus the HR.
Right. Agreed.
The HR to me is that word that I love, and I also despise it because it makes it seem like there's not that seat at the table, all right? And I'm being a little bit funny here, but you're right, Mary. It's like let's take HR out of the equation when it comes to this. Let's actually become strategic business partners in that decision-making process. Really good points.
Yeah, absolutely. In this way, they're not HR. They need to be salespeople, and they're selling the CEO on an idea. And, when you go to sales, you know that you really never have to sell a day in your life if you can just understand your customer's needs and talk to them about how you can help them. And so if they can stay in the language of the business and talk about how they can help make an impact on it, they can make that business case.
Totally hear you. So listen, we're running down. We've got only about 5 minutes left on the podcast. Tell us just a little bit more about what's happening over at Career Builder right now, what you all have planned for the HR Tech Conference in Vegas next week.
Sure,
Give us some
we're thrilled.
tidbits.
We are thrilled to be out there next week, and we will be showcasing our recruitment software and our sourcing technologies. They're all part of a new suite of products that we've actually rebranded called Talent Stream Technologies. We have a lineup of experts, including Chris Don and Tim Sackett from Fistful of Talent, speaking at our booth. I'll also be there to share my thoughts on what you should be looking for when selecting a partner. And I'll show you a little bit about our platform today that we hope to help you revolutionize your recruitment strategy. We're at booth 1311, so stop by to watch our live product demos and or learn how our solutions can solve your biggest HR headaches.
Nice. What kind of cool swag are you giving away? That's really what I'm interested in. Are you doing a cocktail hour? Are we giving away goodies? Come on.
We have hoodies that I got to tell you, from the 20-something to this old lady who's older than you, Kevin. We all love our new hoodies. And so if you come by and you come to one of the live events or you participate in our demos, then we are giving away a hoodie.
Sweet.
We also have fruit-infused water, too.
I'm going to be totally stopping on by, and I'm bringing my selfie stick. So you've been warned,
wonderful.
people of Vegas. I'll be on the run.
Hey,
and looking forward to taking lots of
I've got one now too. I've got a selfie stick now too.
Are you serious?
Yes,
nice.
I do.
Sweet.
Yes, I do.
Looking forward to that.
So Mary, we're going to make sure that Chris and Tim, they're going to be singing a duet as well, right? Is that correct?
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah. I want to see the Islands in the Stream. Islands in the Stream. That's what they need to. All right.
Such talent.
So there you go. Well, we're excited about next week. We'll definitely be coming by. Again, it's booth 1311, right?
It is, and make sure you're following us at CB4Employers on Twitter. That's at CB4Employers, and tweet along with us during today's T-Chat. And even next week, we'll be live tweeting from the HR Tech Show.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Mary Delaney, at Career Builder for Employees, CB for Employers on the Twitters. I want to, again, give a special shout-out to the entire team at Career Builder. Love all of you. You guys are doing some really amazing things. Keep up the great work. And over and out here from Megan and Bureau. Let's take this party over to Twitter.
Yes. We'll see you over there, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. And we'll time to Twitter chat now. Thanks, Mary.
Bye.
Thank you, Megan and Kevin.